Hey there, wire weavers. Today we're going to be talking about the modified sumac weave on 2 base wires. This is one of my favorite weaves. It's one that I use frequently in my jewelry tutorials, so I wanted to get this weave pattern tutorial up on my YouTube channel so that you'd always have a reference here in case you're not familiar with this weave. This is a super simple weave to do. It's a really versatile weave. It's very stable. It works well on curved pieces and straight pieces, and today I'm going to show you how to do this weave both left-handed and right-handed. Let's get started. My name is Wendy and I'm the wire weaver behind Door 44 Studios. If you want to learn to make wire jewelry, this channel is for you. So as usual, I'm using my favorite tools for demoing weaves here. These are just disposable chopsticks that I pulled out of our takeout drawer, and I'm also using some 0.5 millimeter wax jewelry cord, and this is just so that you can see the contrast between the chopsticks and the wax jewelry cord. It just helps to see the weave a little bit better. And these are really good materials to practice with, so if you happen to have some string and a spare pair of chopsticks laying around, go ahead and grab those. Like I say, it's a great way to practice weaves. You can reuse these materials over and over again. And it's just a fun and easy way to practice weaves. It's a great way to develop a feel for tension. It's a great way to experiment with new weaves. So if you see a weave that you like and you want to try to replicate it, this is a great way to do that without wasting a bunch of wire. Now, one of the other things I'm going to use for this demo, of course, is my ring clamp. This is a really super handy tool. I like using it for lots of things, but it works really well for these demos because I can clamp my chopsticks and the spring clamp will hang onto them nice and firmly. So I'm going to start this weave the same way that I normally do, and I'm going to demonstrate this left-handed first. So as you can see, I'm weaving from right to left. And I always start all my weaves the same way. I begin with the weaving wire behind my core wires, and I'm going to bring this between wires 1 and 2 and around wire 1. So we're just going to make one single wrap around our bottom core wire. That's the first step of this weave. And then we're going to come all the way up behind wire 2, and we're going to come around and down around wire 2. So now you have a single wrap on each weaving wire from the front. If you look at this from the back, you'll see you have a double wrap going across both core wires, and then you can see there's a half a wrap here on my weaving wire end and a half a wrap here on my wire tail. So the way this weave works out, the pattern repeat is on the upward pass, you're going to wrap a single wrap around each wire, and on the downward pass, we're going to wrap across both wires. So this right here is one full pattern repeat. We have single, single, double. And then to begin the next pattern repeat, we're going to come up between wires 1 and 2, go all the way around, and then over and around wire 2. So now we've got the first half of our second pattern repeat. And then to complete that pattern repeat, we're going to come over both wires and then up and around wire 1 to begin that third pattern repeat. So you see how that works out? Single, single, double, that's one pattern repeat. Single, single, double, 2 pattern repeats, and we have one wrap on our third pattern repeat. So then we're going to come up behind wire 2, do a single wrap around wire 2, and then we're going to come all the way around and over both wires to complete that pattern repeat. So now we have 3 pattern repeats on our wires. And if you look at this from the back, notice that it looks almost identical. The difference is your pattern is going to shift one half of a pattern repeat. So whereas on the front we started with the single wraps on both wires, in the back we start with a double wrap. So the nice thing about this weave is that it looks almost identical on the back as it does on the front. And that makes it nice when you're making transitions and maybe you twist the wire around, you get a nice seamless weave pattern. There's a lot of continuity there because the pattern looks essentially the same on both the front and the back. And that's all there is to this weave. You just want to continue repeating that pattern. So we're going to complete that second single wrap and then double wrap across both wires. And then we're going to do single, single, double, single, single, double. And that, my friends, is all there is to it. You just continue weaving in that same pattern until you're ready to finish off your wire. If you have any questions about weaving, or if there's a particular weaving pattern that you'd like me to do a tutorial for, just leave those questions and suggestions in the comments. I'll be happy to write up a tutorial for you. I'm going to demonstrate the right-handed version of the modified Soumak weave on 2 base wires. So again, just like the left-handed version, I'm going to start it exactly the same way. We start with the single wrap pass, and we do the single wraps on the upward pass, and then we do the double wrap coming across both wires on the downward pass. So let's go ahead and get started. And I always start my weaves the same way, regardless of whether I'm weaving left-handed or right-handed. I bring my weaving wire behind my core wires, and you're going to come up between wires 1 and 2. And I just hang on to the tail of I'll just, pin that against my ring clamp. And I use this index finger here on my free hand to kind of hold my wires in place. So I'm going to make a single wrap around the lower core wire. And then I'm coming back across both core wires in the back. And then I'm going to come between the core wires and make a single wrap on that top core wire. So there's my first half of my first pattern repeat. And as you can see, I made a single wrap on both of these core wires. And now I'm going to come across and down. Remember, we always do the double wrap on the downward pass. And then we're going to come up between wires 1 and 2, single wrap around wire 1, single wrap around wire 2, and double wrap across both wires. So that's 2 pattern repeats right there. And that's all there is to this weave. You just continue that same pattern, single, single, double, single wrap, single wrap, double wrap. And when I say double wrap, I mean I'm just crossing 2 core wires. This is, like I say, it's a really super simple weave. It's an easy pattern to remember. It's a versatile, stable pattern that works really well on almost any kind of wire weaving. If you have curved core wires or straight core wires, you have a twist in your core wires. This is a great pattern to use because it's so stable and because it looks almost identical on the front and the back. So I'm just going to do a couple more pattern repeats here, and then we'll take a look at the back so you can see the difference. So again, single, single, double, and that completes a pattern repeat. Begin the next one, single, single, double. And I'm just going to finish off here with a single wrap so that my wire, or my cord in this case, is kind of snug. So now if I flip this back and we look at the back side, so on the front we started with the single wraps, and you can see here on the back we have this double wrap and then the single wraps. So the pattern is nearly identical to the front. The only difference is that it's shifted 1/2 of a pattern repeat. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. If you did, please be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I upload new tutorials. I do upload a new video weekly. And until next time, go make something beautiful.